Brett's the guy that's been doing this. Okay, I'm just going to smudge and then we'll get started. I can't wait to share with you this month. Smudging the screen. Okay. Some people are running late and we'll jump in. So, welcome to June. I have that candle going, but I do need a single one. Okay. Perfect. So Brett's can get me a candle going. I have a beeswax one, but I want a taper. So he'll get that going for me. So welcome to June. This month is awesome. It's one of my favorite months. And building up to it, things can start to get intense sometimes. So the June represents a lot of different things. It's the sixth moon of creation. And that's how we view it. And it's also known as the strawberry moon when the full moon comes. But the medicine of the strawberry is reconciliation and love. So this month, a lot of the work that we're going to be doing has to do with not just connecting to this moon cycle that has this amazing power, but it's welcoming everyone in our home. It's letting go of differences, of judgments, and it's also allowing ourselves to move forward. So June's medicine, what we want to work with is the strawberries. Is anyone here allergic to strawberry?
No.
Okay, good. That's awesome. So the moon, so we want to use strawberry as medicine, and it's actually traditionally called the heartberry. And I'm a Chippewa, and that's the native name. That's what we call it, is the heartberry. And when we use them, we implement them in our cooking. We put them in salads, we make smoothies, jams, or even a puree that you can put onto your pancakes. So you do want to work with strawberry and create your traditional summer dish with it. What's awesome about it is it actually contains, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's ellagic acid, ELLAGIC acid, and flavonoids, which are really good for the cardiovascular health, and it can help prevent heart disease and strokes and help us lower our cholesterols. It also, when we consume strawberries, it brings us to our dedication, and it connects us to the universe. And when we use strawberries through the month of June, it triggers solving problems and helps us come into realizations that will help us become stronger in our life. It can be used for fertility, but it's mainly used for love and to overcome barriers and issues that bring us what we're trying to achieve in our life. So we will also consume strawberries for luck. So make sure you do something with strawberries this month. Try to eat them once a week and just see how that influence does affect our body. The other thing that's really important is getting more into the healthy foods, and I can lecture about that. But a lot of us are starting to crave the real foods, and that is because there is a balancing act that's happening with our spirit right now. And this is the spirit of the three, Mother, Maiden, Crone. It's also God, Goddess, and us. So try to implement more fresh foods in your diet through this next month. And while you do, you might want to implement a natural fruit and veggie spray just to get rid of everything. One thing that I like to use is 4 parts water with 1 part vinegar, or you can use lemon juice, or you can just use regular sea salt. but you get into the habit of either soaking your veggies in that or spraying it. Maybe you use something else that cleans your veggies off from all the gunk. So going into June, June is named from, the name June comes from the goddess Juno, and that's a Roman goddess. And she's the goddess of marriage and was the wife of Jupiter. So there's a lot of Jupiter influence that has come into our astrological influences. So Jupiter is really influencing us right now, and that has a lot to do with our finances and where we want our life to go. But through June, it is the goddess of Juno that is in play. And so there is also a lot of, before the Roman goddess Juno, there was a lot of other sun goddesses and summer goddesses. So this month it's really important to try to connect with the goddess. Some of them are Aphrodite, Aurora, there's Bridget, there's the Corn Woman, there's Sybil, there's Demeter, there's Fortuna, there's Gaia, there is also Ishtar and Isis, and also Vesta and Venus. So these are just some of the summertime goddesses, and a lot of these are thousands and thousands of years old. And so summer solstice, it's always good to kind of connect with that inner self and how you feel inside and want to bring yourself out. And it's always good to research the goddesses of summer and see which one you are connecting with, because you're going to find there are some personality traits that's drawing you out, okay? When we get into June, we are experiencing the power of the summer solstice. And the power of the summer solstice is when the masculine energy of the earth and spirit, as well as the feminine energy of the earth, is at its maximum peak. So this is the most powerful time of the entire year, okay? So what happens is we want to focus on our creation, our manifestation, but mainly our family and our sexuality. So this is also a time where we are ripening and trying to receive the bounty of what we're creating in our life. The time of day that runs us right now with the goddess is our high noon. So whenever noon comes around, the goddess energy is forming around us. This is happening every day through the month of June. And the direction is south and fire. So people who are astrological signs of Cancer, Leo, or Virgo are going to have superpower this month. The other thing you're going to notice is a lot of nature spirit activity. Because this, you have to remember, everything is still blooming. And Jess, I'm pointing at your screen, but you're probably not on that side. The video that you taped is awesome. That is definitely nature spirit activity. So we want to be open to the nature spirits this month, and we still want to connect with that power. Through this month is when we start to see fireflies, okay? Which are an actual beetle. They're not flies. Anyway, there's a lot of folklore and magic around them. The other thing that we're going to notice is fairy circles, okay? So you want to pay attention and see if you can see a fairy circle when on your hikes, or if you're getting one in your yard. And they don't always have to be mushroom. They could also be dandelions or dark patches of green. But you want to see some type of, you want to connect with the fairies through this time for sure. There's also a lot of animal guides that will come around through June. We have the bees, we have blackbirds, butterflies, and coyotes. So these animals will come around as well as more eagles, hawks, and woodpeckers. So a lot of flying animals are coming. Now I'm going to get into what I want you to really practice. In the last, let me just find my notes here. Okay, so all the spirit guides that are coming around, you want to watch for salamanders, fairies, and angels. So angel energy, fairies. So, I mean, if those have crossed your path, you're doing great. And if not, then you need to get outside more. So today is very special, being that it's the 13th, because the energy of this day prepares us for the spirits who are trying to assist us in our current situations. And they want us to see things from a higher perspective so that we're able to overcome any doubts or fears that we may feel. And this is the time where doubts and fears can be triggered. So if you have been feeling certain things from outside influences, that is something that's normal and that a lot of people are feeling right now. So don't think it's just you. Don't think it's just your circumstances. And these feelings are coming up because your spiritual support is trying to work more closely in regards to your days, what you're trying to do financially, and your day-to-day life. So they want to ensure that all our energies are running to plan and that our material needs are being met. So it's important for us to really pay attention and do magic right now. Some of us will have to do money magic to call the finances in, and some of us will have to protect our money. So remember that in our manifestation, sometimes we call things in, but we also have to protect it so that it can't be taken from other people or unwanted situations, okay? And because this is such a huge power right now that's happening, those who have untamed energy are going to be like freakish through this month, okay? Like, you know how the full moon affects people? Well, this month you're going to notice everybody's heightened. So what we want to do is we want to utilize that energy in our magic and in our daily life. So up until now, we have learned the first law, and I am totally convinced that all of you were able to connect with it and know it. And that first law in magic was to know thyself. So now, I'm confident you all have the ability to understand your own feelings and what's being hit at you, okay? And you're able to understand where you're comfortable and where you're not. That's huge. That is very magical. But now that we know how that feels, we want to take it further. We need to allow ourselves to go into a new state. And we have to learn how to reach a new consciousness. So I want to teach you tonight on how you can reach alpha state. Now, alpha state is really important when it comes to magic and also operating with your intuition. And when we connect with our spirit guides, it's going into alpha state that gets us there. So just like you know how to tune into yourself and feel the environment, and you're able to recognize the changes in energy that people bring or even items bring, now we want to take it further so that we can start to connect with spirit. So this month is really about the spiritual support that's around you, and it wants you to not just be true to yourself, but to step out of your comfort zone and to use your natural skills and talents to connect into the state so that you can have more uplifting energy and breakthrough. This brings us our intuitive messages, and it allows us to get ideas for new ventures and projects that your spirit system your spirits want you to do. So you have endless skills and talents at your disposal. What is it that's going to light your soul on fire? This is the month we find out. So this month we're also having the summer solstice, which is Litha. And it occurs when I said the highest level energy of the year. So you really want to get connected to your partnerships with everyone you love. And being able to know yourself we do need to move this further to the law of psychic consciousness. So when we go into an alpha state, we are utilizing a new consciousness and connecting to our higher self. And it's just going past the meditative state. This is just lifting yourself so that your psychic self comes through. So before I teach you how to do this, and I'm going to get you to try it with me, I want you to understand what the law of psychic consciousness is. And let me find that. So the law of psychic consciousness is whenever the conscious decision-making mind is passive, the human psyche, our soul mind, attempts to perfect itself, to make a perfect specimen. So that means anything that you are trying to manifest, if you can bring your mind to a passive place and then take yourself to an alpha state, you're able to receive the soul mind attempt of perfection. And this soul mind gives undivided attention to a certain focal point. And that's why whenever we're practicing magic or we want to do something, we have to focus on one specific thing, right? Unless it's the full moon, then we can write all kinds of stuff. But when we're working on stuff, one focal point. Intentionally or intentionally, this focal point is centralized and it becomes part of your concentration, making the conscious mind non-participative and submissive to the activity of the subconscious mind and the superconscious minds. So the superconscious mind is when our mental self and our spiritual self come together and they come into balance, and that's called the supermind. And that's when miracles, people who perform miracles, go into that state. This is where this is the potential within the human seed that pushes through the opening in the brain with knowledge and information to upgrade the individual. This could be in the form of answers to questions or ideas or to stimulate new interests. It could also be from past life surfacing or visions. So whenever we want a vision of something, or whenever I'm communicating with spirit, or people are pulling cards and getting psychic information, that's where it's coming from. So we need to learn how to get into this conscious state. And some of the things that are going to help do this is learning how to get into alpha, but there's a few things that we need in our home. One of them is having an altar. So I want you to put some kind of altar together in your home, and a lot of you may have already. But the reason why we want to have the altar in our home is because it is an actual portal of consciousness when you put those tools together. So when you put them together, it creates a portal that whenever you're around it, your subconscious mind knows that it can now tap into the power. Okay, and I'll post some magical things about an altar, and a lot of people can do research. They'll find out that there's, people have rules, candles have to be in specific places. No, put your altar together the way it feels for you, okay? And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be, something. But you definitely need to put an altar together to help you get into alpha state. The other thing is, water and sun worship this month is very important. So the bathing and the sacred waters of ocean, lakes, rivers, creeks, wherever you can dip your feet in, you've got to do that at least once this summer or this month. And that is because Minerva is in the making of the water. And Minerva is an ancient goddess of wisdom. And this is her time as well. So she is trying to empower and heal water and the human consciousness, our mentalities. So if we want a fresh break in our minds, get your feet in water. The other thing is the sun worship. Because we are being maximized with our masculine and feminine energy, we need to enjoy the sun as much as we can. And sun is so magical for everyone. The native people, they do the sun dance, and that's because they believe that it's the sun that comes through where the manifestation of the great spirits come through. So manifestation of the great spirits comes through the sun, and that's why we also want to have our fires at night. Women in the ancient days were the keepers of fires. And through those fires, we would create what we wanted. And that talent still exists today. So try to have fires or a candle in your home and think about what you want, but mainly pay attention to what comes to mind. When we light fires and when we're connected to the goddess and we sit and relax, it is through the goddess Vesta that comes through. And she is the magic in the fire. And as you sit there, you will always receive some kind of vision or idea that has to do with your life through the month of June. She's active. And Vesta is the one that is, sparks the magical, pops in the flames or in the cauldron. She'll bring the sparks. And when she's bringing sparks to our fire through this month, it does represent her bringing extra power into your life. So one of the things is this month, when we look at the tarot, does represent the Wheel of Fortune. This is a time where we get to create whatever we want. But the more we are connected to our home, the more power we will receive. So the home and our home space and our family is what is magical through this month. The candle flame at night, so remember, visions is what you're trying to get. Because remember, she wants to work through you. So you want to connect to some kind of summer goddess as well to help you with this. You want to also try to implement in greeting the sun every day. As soon as you leave your house, say hello to the sunshine, even if you don't see the sun. And what that will do is bring you more visions at night through your sleep. We automatically try to get into an alpha state when we're sleeping. And a lot of us will have blocks in our vision, or our conscious mind knows that our spirit guides want to bring us our visions at night, but it blocks it. So sometimes we wake up in the middle of the night. That would be a sign that you're not able to reach alpha state, or you go to sleep too late. Okay, that would mean you're not reaching it, or you just have darkness. Okay, so getting into this state will open your vision, and that's what I want. This month is about focusing on communicating with your spirit guide and having them come into your life through dreams and influences, as well as lighting your spirit on fire and going for what you want. This is the time where everything is still blooming. So creation is taking place, and that represents 5 visions. So there is a thing called the Sacred 5 Visions that will come into form this month. And it's invoking growth into your life, as well as a new doorway to our deepest desires. So campfires will, when Vesta comes through the fires and you know that your campfire is doing something magical, then you want to pay attention and just like sit there and enjoy. Because that's when the goddess will bring out and understand, look deep into our deepest desires, things that we're scared to ask for. She knows. And it's through the bonfire of June that she's able to grant us those wishes. So try to have one. And if you don't live in a place where you can, you have the candlelight. And the candlelight will act as that bonfire as well. So are you ready to try to get into alpha state? The other thing I want you to do is, if you can, try to make a 4 Thieves vinegar. Last month we were talking about the hot foot powder, and I needed it. Thank God. And if I didn't have that hot foot powder, I probably would have had a whole different circumstance with the building inspector. So this month, one thing that I want you to try to make and have in your cupboard is called 4 Thieves vinegar. And this is something that comes way back from the 1700s. And a lot of people have heard of the Four Thieves essential oil. Well, this is the Four Thieves vinegar. And it was known to fight the plague. And what happened is these four thieves conspired to rob the graves of the dead of previous possessions that were buried with them. So they wanted all the gold. And they came from a family of perfumers. So these perfumers had knowledge of the health benefit of herbs and essential oils. Well, the four thieves rubbed on their body this garlic-infused vinegar all through, and it was all through the plague. It was contagious. They didn't get any of it. So this is how to make your Four Thieves vinegar, and I'm going to tell you why you want to make it. It's awesome. So you want some apple cider vinegar, if you can get. So 16 ounces of apple cider vinegar, or you can use distilled white vinegar. So you can use the white as well. Then you want to use 4 cloves of garlic. That's it. Okay, 4 cloves of garlic, 16 ounces of vinegar. So you mince the garlic up, add a little of the vinegar to the garlic, and then you keep macerating it until it's soft. You spoon this into a sterile jar and slowly pour in the rest of the vinegar. Then you let the bubbles subside. So after the bubbles all go down, then you can put the cap on it. You want to swirl it gently once every couple of days for 3 to 4 weeks. And every time you do that, there's a chant. So I would write the chant on the bottle. And what it is evil may come, but it will not stay. My Four Thieves vinegar will keep evil at bay. And we use this. We can use it for spiritual or physical immunity or for protection. And what we do is we'll apply the vinegar just to our hands. So you can apply the vinegar to your portals, and that's it. Or you can put it on your body, wherever, but just on your hands having it. The other thing is to build an internal immunity. If you're feeling like your energy isn't good and you want to do a detox and a good cleanse, you can add half a teaspoon of this to 8 ounces of water and then drink it. Blech. But it's good for you. The variation, if you don't want to use garlic, you could trade the garlic for 4 herbs, which I like to do sometimes too. But you want to make sure that the herbs are antibacterial, antiseptic, and high spiritual vibrations. So you can use herbs such as lavender, hyssop, rosemary, sage, or peppermint. So this will make 16 ounces, and the shelf life for it is a year. You can even put it in a spray bottle and use it. But try to make it this month and see how it works for you. You just dab it on like a ritual oil whenever you need it. Okay? So let's try to get into the alpha state. Now, the reason why we want to go into the alpha state too is because in magic, there is something called the law of correspondence. And that means as above, so below, as above. And that means that we are one, right? We can create anything that is existed and will exist. And this is something that is supposed to trigger our subconscious mind and will also mirror like an external mirror us. So it will take care of external circumstances. If we feel like we're in thoughts of poverty, this will help us get out of it, okay? So I want you to relax, and I'm going to post this on our page too, so that you can take a look at it and use it whenever you want. But what we're trying to do is just get into the alpha state, okay? And so what you want to do is close your eyes and relax. Always remember to breathe through your mouth. And this is really simple and easy, but you do want to master it as far as seeing it and feeling it, okay? So take note on how your atmosphere feels around you. Take note on the top level of your skin, like how it feels, cool or warm. And we'll begin. So close your eyes and relax. And first you want to imagine a bright and beautiful rainbow across the sky. It is so close that you can see each color perfectly. Now take a deep breath. And while you inhale, visualize the color red. Relax your physical body. Take a deep breath. And while you inhale, visualize the color orange. And check control of your emotions. Take a deep breath. And while you inhale, visualize the color yellow. And relax your mind. Take a deep breath. And while you inhale, visualize the color green. And let yourself find a state of tranquility within yourself. Take a deep breath, and while you inhale, visualize the color blue. And fill yourself with love. Take a deep breath, and while you inhale, visualize the color indigo. And find your most hidden inner self. Take a deep breath and find and inhale the color violet. Stay with your most hidden and intimate self. You are now in your deepest mental level. Now is the time when you want to focus on any goal or any question you want to ask. Immerse yourself within your deep mental level and let yourself become inspired. At this time, you would prepare yourself to come out from your levels. As you come out from your deep and intimate mental levels, a sense of peace penetrates. Your whole body, you feel cleansed. Your visual capacity is clearer. Your whole being is in perfect harmony. Now visualize the colors of the rainbow in the reverse order. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Open your eyes. So I want to get into, I need this, or where's mine? Oh, here it is. So when I did that, mentally, you may have felt some kind of change happen. And that's what we want to do. So when I go into a place where I want to communicate with spirit, I'll take myself there. When we go into the alpha state, our mind is going to going about a 14 to 7 cycles per second. Okay? So what we believe, let me get into this a little bit more. So what we're doing is we're slowing down our minds so that our psychic information and inner vision can come forward. An alpha state is similar to the dream state. If you go into an alpha state, your body goes through the same cycles and shifts as when you consciously put yourself into the alpha state. So once you learn how to do it, it'll be easier to happen when you're sleeping as well. And you'll actually get really amazing healing sleeps. If we have trouble getting to alpha states, that's when we can have trouble sleeping, we don't get dreams, or even nightmares will come. So when we do those colors, we are actually, what we're doing is we're trying to connect, and we are connecting, to the consciousness of that alpha state. And in order to get through it, we have to work our way through the chakra barriers. This is actually a skill that helps our psychic intuition on all levels. And what it does is it peels away the layers of our own cultural and expectations. It's also useful for building prophecy and vision abilities. How many of you dream? Perfect. And if you do have trouble dreaming, you will notice a huge difference with it. The other thing is when you're trying to see something, you want to close your eyes and just visualize this as your screen. And if you close your eyes right now and put your hand over your third eye and move it, you're going to see that it's different behind your eyes. Like you can see that vision change. So when that vision, when our eyes are closed, our eyelids are our screen, okay, at first, and then it will break through. So we always want to practice going to alpha with our eyes closed. And you always want to use this screen in front of you to see the colors and try to see it. And every time you visualize each color on your screen as you count down, try to remember the color things that associate it. So if you can see apple, when I say it, that's your psychic sight. That is the alpha state. When I say banana and you can see it, that 1 second you see the banana, that's the alpha state. So if we can get there and hold it longer, then we're going to be able to receive the visions and the connection. So practice going into it. The countdown is good. 7 is red, 6 is orange, 5 is yellow. You can go 4 green, 3 blue, 2 indigo, and 1 purple or violet. And get really quick into it eventually. But you do want to get to do that. Practice before you go to bed, and then ask for your spirit guide to come to you. And I want you to do that at least once a week. Ask for your spirit guide to come to you. And once you've seen your spirit guide, then you want to ask your spirit to give them their name. Okay? And I can send you a recording of it too, if you want, and you can just play it. And what we need to do is, let me get to this other stuff. So candle flames at night. Okay. Trying to get your visions with the fire. The other thing is knowing that the Wheel of Fortune is played. One thing that is really important to implement is a wishing tree. So those of you who do have a lot of things that they're trying to manifest, if there's more than 3 things, a wishing tree is always good to put on. So you can use feathers or ribbons, tie it, and loose so that the spirit of the air can blow them away. And see what you end up with. Sorry, I just gotta find my thing here. And we're only 1 week away from the sleepover. So I'm really excited about that. Bring your drums if you have them. I just gotta find my one other thing I'm doing here. Sorry. Okay. I can't find my one sheet I had. Sorry, one sec. Does anyone have any questions? I feel like I'm in silence, so I'm looking for my sheet. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to do is not just the alpha stage, but I want you to also do something. It's called How to Heal. It's the total health clearance. And because this is a time where we can do beauty magic, we can focus on how we want to feel, and that energy is coming through. One thing I want you to try as well is a healing exercise. And what we do is, again, we take our right hand, okay, and that's our direction hand. We put it over our crown chakra, and go slowly down. So we feel that magnetic energy go into Gasho. Once you feel it, go above your crown, and you want to go all the way down. And once you get to your heart center, that's when we want to focus on a total cleaning energy. So I'll say, I am giving myself total health clearance right now. And when we do that, if you focus on doing that, it's actually going to help break, and this is kind of weird, but the calcium buildup. Has anyone ever heard of calcium buildup in their pineal? Okay, so this is something that will help break that calcium buildup, and it's also allowing you to receive the healing energy that you want. It will also help us get into that alpha state if you have trouble. So we want to focus on our healing. So one way to protect yourself from any unwanted energy or any psychic energy or information that you don't like, or a healing energy that you want, you can focus on doing this. And if you go like this right now, you should be able to feel a heat channel above your head. Use your right hand. Can you feel, where's your heat? See, you can almost see something happening to mine. But if you feel that heat, as soon as you connect to the heat, you bring it down. And you want to actually feel that energy hitting you. And then when we get to the heart or solar plexus energy, we push it in just a little bit and say, I clear myself completely. And you can even do that with, did you feel that? The heat? Okay. This is actually something that the ancient Greeks used to do that. That was how they would heal, similar to Reiki. So when we do that, we can actually get rid of anything we don't like, any energy that we don't want, but we can also call in energy that we do want. So if I have trouble connecting to spirit, I will do that. I'll clean myself, give myself that healing that I want. Try it if you ever get tired. See how quick it works for you. So we use our own hand, and it's a way to heal ourselves, and it ensures us that anything brought up to us will not affect us. So you can even do that before you walk into a place. Even if you start to get sniffles and you did that, 5 minutes later, it could be totally gone. So as soon as you feel the beginning of something, try to do that. It will also allow us to have more control. Some people feel that they have control over everything around them in their lives and in other lives, but no one really has it. However, we are able to connect with the forces of nature so that we can learn to let go and build and overcome what we need to. One other thing that I like to do is talk about the apple, because the apple is a sacred witch symbol, and it's also the symbol of Avalon. And it means Isle of Apples is what Avalon actually means. But if you cut the apple clockwise, you'll see that it has 5 seeds in the center, creating a 5-pointed pentacle around. And one thing that I like to do is, when the apples start to bloom, I will put the apples in the 4 corners of my house and see how long it takes them to go brown. And it will cleanse and suck up anything negative. But there's also a thing called the apple meditation. And to perform the apple meditation, we will follow the steps of the crystal countdown. And once we're in alpha, we will look for our psychic screen to draw energy and the aura of an apple to our screen. And that's how we'll train. We'll train to do that until all of a sudden we see a real apple in our mind. And then we take note on how long we can hold that apple. So everyone can imagine an apple. Try to learn how to see it clearer and clearer until it actually looks real. And then with your eyes closed, you want to be able to bring that apple to your focus. You reach on top of the screen to imagine that you're touching the apple. So when I'm talking about the screen, you want to go to grab it. Once you can see your fingers in your mind's eye, then you know you're able to manipulate different things. So we will use that as a technique to further manifest and draw forth what we want. Okay, so if it's money, you would be able to learn to see how much you want and grab that check. Okay? So that is a good way to exercise it. The other thing you want to do is, again, if you can do the apple, then you want to move to the pentacle. Okay? So practice getting to alpha, then we're going to try to get to see the apple, and then we're going to move it to the pentacle. Okay? And all of these are going to help you with a power drawing. So we use a pentacle. Everyone knows it's kind of the symbol of the witch. However, the first symbol was actually the cross. After the cross was taken, and the cross represented freedom, after that was taken, we looked to the stars, and the pentacle was chosen as the symbol. And it's a sign of universal wisdom and protection. So when we go into alpha state, it's called the penta-alpha. Okay? Penta-alpha. And when we see it that way with our eyes closed, then it brings us the path that we need. So it opens up our pathway and actually will show us the future as if you were looking into a crystal ball. And when we are able to do that, it's said that we are connecting to the psychic worlds of the earth, air, fire, and water. So first is the alpha state, then the apple, then the pentacle. After we're able to connect with the pentacle and actually use it, there's some benefits that will come from it. One thing will be you'll have better control over your thoughts, words, and actions. You'll understand the forms and flows that are happening in your life, and your psychic abilities will be used every day. Okay? Every time you go into alpha, your bodily functions will improve. Your eyesight, your hearing, your vision, your weight. Because it is one of the most healing states. It's very similar to the hospital's ultrasound energy. Very similar to the singing bowls, the crystal singing bowls. So we will use that. Okay. Undo your speakers for a minute if you have So how many of you, perfect, hello. So how many of you re-listened to the May work? Let me just, this month, I really want you to try to stick outside as much as you can at night, even if it's for 20 minutes, because the fairy magic that we did is starting to come form. We talked about how the male god, or the fairy god, came through in the last full moon. So this month is really important to try to connect with the nature spirits, and fire is the power. So a couple of you had salamanders, I saw. That's so cool. I've never seen one in New Brunswick. And the other thing is there is some more dedication time. So if you haven't done your self-dedication, really try to do it. I posted it on the page. I can give you a recording of me doing it so you could do it on audio, but that is a life-changing experience, because when you dedicate yourself, you're giving yourself to the universe, and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to honor myself as I honor you. And part of that dedication is taking the next step into this month of as above, so below. You can't truly be as above, so below if you don't do a self-dedication. And that self-dedication opens you up on all levels. 1, so that you honor yourself. 2, so that you can gain your strength and spirituality and feel the building of it as it's happening. But through this month, it's our psychic pathways that we want to open. So make up those things and try to get into this. I'm going to post this, this visualization. And this visualization is not meant to be a 20-minute thing. You just say it and get to that space, and then ask a question. Who's my spirit guide? And wait. And do that until you receive that name, or a vision of him coming through, or her. Okay? So the key to this month and the goal is to meet your spirit guide. And I'll see if I can get Brett to do some meditations that maybe we can post, that you can try that as well. And if you're coming to the sleepover, then we got some cool stuff to do. We'll definitely be trying to do the spirit guide thing there as well. Okay? So bring something warm. We're all going to be on air mattresses. If you have air mattresses, bring them. We need 6, and I have 1. And I have another person that's got a double. So I think we'll be double air mattresses would be good. The other thing I plan on doing is the midsummer ceremony during the sleepover before, as well as if you do drink and you feel like drinking, you can bring wine, bring your own drink if you want. I'm going to have some elderberry wine. And we will be doing drumming with face masks. I want to do the mud mask, so we're all like super tight while we're drumming. It's going to be so fun. So I got all kinds of stuff. We also have a game called the Game of Enlightenment. And it's a really cool game. It's a psychic game, and a lot of people can play it. So we'll have fun with that as well. So I got lots of plans to keep us busy. Until then, practice on your magic, communication with spirit, your psychic abilities, and what you want to do. Okay? And don't let anything get at you. And if you do, let me know, because watch, this is the peak of everyone. Like, just watch. And we'll see you at the full moon. Okay? So full moon, I would love for you to practice the charge of the goddess again. Because traditionally it's the priestesses and above that are able to truly connect and channel that. So practice that so that you can join me. and as well as the other calls, calling in the earth, air, fire, and water. Okay? We'll talk soon. Have a good night. Enjoy. Practice the alpha. I'm going to post it. Bye.